Hello, so today I'm going to be discussing how foreign sonographers and foreign physicians can become registered by the ARDMS to become sonographers in the US. So, this is not from a legal standpoint, this is from an education standpoint. I hope this is helpful for you guys because I have been getting a lot of questions on this subject, and previously I did not know much. So I'm going to try my best to offer the resources, how you can get to the resources necessary to become registered, and explain a few of the details along the way. So I'm going to explain what I know, what I've researched, but what I don't know is not going to be on this video. The first way to get to the resources, I'm going to have my notes on my laptop that I'm going to discuss so that you can familiarize yourself with the process and you can actually become registered, is to go to the ARDMS website .org, and then from the homepage you're going to go to Get Certified. Next you're going to go to Application and Examination Requirements. I'm going to click on that and then scroll all the way to the bottom, and you're going to see the blue Prerequisites and Eligibility Requirements. You're going to expand that box, and then you'll see ARDMS General Prerequisites. So that's going to be highlighted in blue. So you can click on this, and this is going to lead you to a PDF document with all the different ways that you can become registered as a sonographer. There are multiple ways, multiple avenues, depending on your degree of education. So to become a registered sonographer by the ARDMS, you first have to sit for the SPI exam. The SPI exam is the Sonographic Principles and Instrumentation exam. Physics has a lot to do with physics, ultrasound physics. You must be 18 or older to start this whole process. So first, SPI. You have to have completed a general, medical, or sonographic physics class, seminar, or course. Some type of physics course. So you will have to submit your transcript to the ARDMS, but this transcript must be evaluated by a foreign evaluation organization. Here's the list of these potential organizations that you could use. These are listed also on the ARDMS website. Your transcript must specify that it was a physics course, a physics principles course, or a physics principles and instrumentation course that you took. That has to be the title of the course. So if you use a transcript to represent your education, you have to have a grade C or higher in that course. Or if you use a CME certificate to denote that you went through a seminar or course, that CME certificate will suffice. But it has to be 12 ARDMS accepted CME credits to cover you for that requirement. Now, once you sit for the SPI exam, then you can move on to all the other ARDMS registries. So there are multiple routes that you can take. The Registered Diagnostic Medical Sonographer route, you can take the Registered Diagnostic Cardiac Sonographer route, the Registered Musculoskeletal Sonographer route, or the Registered Vascular Technologist route. So with each of those, there are certain examinations that you can take. I'm going to go over the general ARDMS requirements, excluding the requirements for the musculoskeletal sonographer route. So, you must sit for these exams, one of these exams, within 5 years of you successfully passing the SPI exam. There are 5 different prerequisite pathways, as far as I know, to be able to sit for any of these exams, these general exams, and this is if you are not a physician. I will get to the physician requirements momentarily. They have Prerequisite 1, Prerequisite 2, Prerequisite 3A, 3B, and Prerequisite 5. So, Prerequisite 1, listed on this PDF document that I mentioned, and this one was released in 2024, so that's the most recent list of prerequisites that you can follow that I have found. So listen to each of these prerequisites to find out which one best fits your circumstances, your degree of education. So Prerequisite 1, if you have gone to a 2-year allied health profession education program that is patient care related. If you have that education, and then you will also, in addition, have to have 12 months of full-time clinical ultrasound or vascular experience. Again, you have to submit your transcript, but it has to come with that foreign evaluation organization review along with it. You have to have a letter verifying that you got that clinical experience, and you have to have a completed CV form. And this form must be completed for the correct specialty area that you are seeking to take an exam in. So if you are trying to become a vascular sonographer, you have to have that clinical experience logged in that form from a vascular ultrasound department. So prerequisite 2, if you have obtained education from an accredited program, this might most likely will apply to someone who is a sonographer in Canada. From a CAHEP accredited program, CAHEP is the Commission on Accreditation of Allied Health Education Programs, or the Canadian Medical Association, the CMA, or Canadian Health Standards Organization, the HSO. So if you have gotten education from a program that is accredited from these places, specifically if you live in Canada, those Canadian organizations, then you fall under this category. Now, for any of these things that I'm discussing, if you are not sure, you can go ahead and go to the ARDMS website and make sure for yourself, or call the ARDMS to verify that you're going to go the right way. But there's also a tool that the ARDMS provides that I'm going to discuss in a moment. For that prerequisite 2 with the accredited program, you have to submit your diploma or transcript, and then a letter from your program director. Now, if it's within a year since you graduated, you don't have to submit that CV form. Now, if it's been greater than a year, you do have to submit that CV form documenting your experience with 12 months of ultrasound experience. So you have to have worked in the field, essentially. Now, prerequisite 3A. This is if you have a bachelor's. This is any type of bachelor's degree. This has to be equivalent to a U.S. bachelor's degree or Canadian bachelor's degree. Whatever your foreign degree is, it has to be equivalent to the U.S. or Canada education requirements. So if you just have a general bachelor's degree, not necessarily any ultrasound pathway that you've gone in, you have to obtain and earn 12 months of that on-the-job experience. Again, you will need to submit your education, a letter saying that you've completed that experience that you need, and also that CV form. And that has to be experience in the area that you are becoming registered in. Prerequisite 3B. If you've gotten education, bachelor's degree education in a sonography program, then again, you don't necessarily have to have that 12 months of experience. Now, to submit along with that education, you have to submit your transcript, and a CV, and a letter from your program director showing that you completed that program. And if it's greater than 12 months since you have graduated, then you have to get that CV for me. Then you have to have that extra 12 months of experience in the specialty for which you are applying. Now, the last prerequisite, if you are not a physician, is you have to essentially already have some type of credentials. These can be the following types of credentials: active credentials, the RCS, RCCS, or RVS through the CCI, or sonography, vascular sonography, breast sonography through the ARRT, the American Registry of Radiologic Technologists, and the CRGS, CRCS, or CRVS through Sonography Canada. So if you're a sonographer in Canada, if you already have these credentials, you can apply to the ARDMS through this prerequisite 5. So you would have to submit a copy of your credential card and a clinical verification CV form. Now I'm going to mention what the physicians have to do. Now stay tuned if you have experience as a sonographer or in the ultrasound field. I have more things to let you guys know. So for physician route, briefly, you have to have your license as an MD, DO license, or the MBBS degree. So that has to be your education. In addition to that, you have to have a minimum of 500 documented cases that you performed ultrasounds on. You have to have a log of all of those exams that you performed ultrasounds on and a letter verifying that you have the experience in that specialty area for which you are applying. You have to submit all that information in your application. Now, if you are not sure which category you fall into, the ARDMS has a prerequisite prep tool. So it's basically a survey that you fill out and it will tell you which exact prerequisite you qualify. That is listed under the same things I mentioned at the beginning of the video, under Get Certified and the prerequisites and eligibility requirements. Now, more information about actually sitting for the ARDMS exams. The types of exams include abdomen, breast, fetal echocardiography, obstetrics and gynecology, pediatric sonography, and that's all under the ARDMS. Now for the RDCS, there's adult echocardiography, fetal echocardiography, pediatric echocardiography. For the registered musculoskeletal sonographer, that's pretty much the name of the specialty exam. And for the RVT, registered vascular technologist, it's a vascular technologist exam that you will be taking. Each of these has an examination content outline that is on the ARDMS website, where they list line by line every single thing you need to know to be able to pass that exam. And it shows the weight of each overall category. So basically the percentage of the exam that's going to have questions on each subject. So if you're going to sit for the ARDMS registry, the SPI, or any of the specialty exams, I highly recommend that you read all the way through that document and multiple times even. So you can make sure you know everything that's going to be on there. It's not a surprise. It's only a surprise if you don't look at the document. So for the SPI exam, I have a course on everything you need to know for the SPI exam. For the abdomen, OBGYN, and vascular exams, I also have YouTube videos specifying a little bit of how you should study, what study tools I would recommend, and just how to go about preparing for those exams. You don't have to sit for all of these exams in person. Nowadays, you can sit for these exams online. So those previous exams that I mentioned and the SPI exam, you can sit from the comfort of your own home. You can take those exams online if you live in certain countries, that is. You have to submit photos of your room. Make sure there's no writings anywhere. You can only drink from a clear glass of water. You can't have scratch paper. They will provide like a whiteboard online for you. You have to have like a webcam. You have to have several things that you can find through the ARDMS website, all the requirements, but you have to have an acceptable form of ID. So you cannot have an ID from country where OnView delivery. If your country is not registered with that service, the OnView service, then you can't take the exam online, unfortunately. So you can't have a digital ID. You can't submit a renewal form with an expired ID. It has to be an actual ID. Definitely read the ARDMS website. There are certain restricted IDs that you cannot use to be able to sit for this online testing. So the countries from which you cannot use that OnView service include Bangladesh, Cuba, Iran, North Korea, Sudan, Syrian Arab Republic or Syria, I don't know how to pronounce this, the Sevastopol or Crimea region of Ukraine, Japan, China, Quebec, that province of Canada, or South Korea. So if you don't take your examination online, it would have to be in person somewhere where you can get that testing done. So I hope this video was helpful, gives you an idea of whether or not you would even be close to qualifying to be able to sit for the ARDMS registry to become registered with the SPI exam and then a specialty exam, or if you got a long way to go to be able to do this. Again, from the legal standpoint, being able to actually physically work in the US, I don't know that process. That is not my area of expertise. So definitely you will have to do your own research on how to go about that. I just presented what I have interpreted from the ARDMS website. So definitely do your own research, and I hope you guys are able to be successful in your endeavors. And I'll see you guys next time.